Hello everyone, we are from group 5 and for today's meeting we are going to explain or talk about the handling reservation. Okay, before we go to the material, let's us to introduce ourselves first. For the first speaker is me, Gusti Ngurah Wirawiguna. For the second speaker is Niputu Dian Yuristan Ingsi. And for the third speaker is Nilputu Samantari. And the last one is for the fourth speaker, the last speaker is Niputu Eniardianti. So without any further ado, let's go to the first material. Is about definition of handling reservation. Okay, for the definition of the reservation, it's a method of booking room by guests or passenger before arriving at the hotel. So this is for the definition of the reservation. Okay, so why will people do the reservation? Okay, this is because if we do the reservation, there's many advantages that we can get for this method. So the advantages are, okay, for the guests, the advantages are, first one is guests will be assured that the room will be available when the time comes. Now the next, guests will estimate the budget that will be spent on the lodging costs during the trip. And the third, it's about guests can avoid the danger or risks might occur while searching for a room stay or will order the room. So maybe in the process, maybe in danger, robbery, and something that will be risks that can decrease with this reservation. The last is guests can enjoy maximum service because hotel can do their maximum preparation before the guests come. So that's the advantages for the guests. And for the hotel, the advantages are the hotel can predict room occupancy will rest a certain period. So if the guests will do the reservation, so the hotel can count their spare room available for the passenger or the guests. Next, hotel can predict the revenue of certain period, so they can compile a program that will use a certain budget. The next, the useful cleaning schedule for employees who will be hired a certain period. And for the last, the hotel can provide maximum service to the guests. So because guests already order their room before they go to the hotel, so the hotel can make a maximum preparation. So the hotel can provide the maximum service for the guests. So that is for the advantages of reservation. Okay, so for the next one is about the source of the reservation or reservation source. Okay, there are 7 sources of the reservation. So for the first one, about the individual. For the individual, everyone who makes a reservation is a sort of reservation. Okay, it's a sort of resource of reservations, but for the individual and for a group. And the next about airlines or flight company. Airlines often make a room booking for a passenger in case the live flag or the passenger can stay overnight in that hotel that already served by flight company. The next is about a travel agency. Travel agency can be a source for the reservation because travel agency is for a potential source because it actives and travel agency will sell tour packages which include the accommodation. This accommodation can be the reservation. So the travel agency is one of source of the reservation. Next is about the company or corporate. Usually companies or corporate assign the employees out of town aboard or benefit of the company itself. For the purpose of accommodation, the company will reserve a hotel room at the destination, and beside that, the company sometimes books a room for its guests. So, the company or corporate can reserve a hotel for the guest or for the employee. In this case, employee have the work in the abroad, so the company will be have the reservation for that. So next is about the government. For the government, usually reserves a room for state official guests who come from foreign or country or visiting or traveling, if deemed necessary to stay in payment borne by the government. So the government can be source of the reservation. And number six is about the airport representative or hotel representative. Okay, hotel representative is someone to pick up the guests who will come to the hotel apart from picking a guest who already in reservation. So they also offer guests who don't have the room to order to stay in their hotel. So for the last one is about the car rental. So the car rental here usually guests rent a car for a trip. Not infrequently, rent car can immediately ask for help to book room. So between hotel and car rental must be have the cooperate maybe to make a reservation for their guests. In that case, when the guests will be stay in the field in with a long time, so the car rental will serve their room for reservation in and if with their hotel. So in this case, car rental can become source of the reservation too. So I think that's all about my material, about the definition, the advantages, and the source of the reservation. So for the next material, will be explained with my friend.
Now I will continue the presentation. It's about media of reservation. Media is a method used for reservation process. Reservation media consists of the first is telephone. Telephone is communication medium used to confirmation they are practical, fast, and efficient. Second is letter. Letter is a reservation medium that was used in ancient time but is rarely used now because it takes a long time to convey information at the hotel. Third is text mail. The source of this reservation has proved that the reservation has been received and the confirmation is brought as proof when checking at the hotel. For email, this reservation medium is used because the cost is cheap and fast. And the last is personal. Guests immediately come to the hotel to see the facilities where the selected room cannot be exchanged because it has been agreed before. And the next material is about rules of reservation. The first rules of reservation is handling room reservation, reception. Second is handling reservation chains. Third, handling reservation collection. Fourth, processing reservation. Five, achieving reservation data. Six, establish good communication with guests, especially before guests arrive at the hotel. Seven, selling room and other facilities in the hotel. Eight, make a reservation report. And the last is cooperating with other section or department at the hotel.
Okay, I will continue the material today, and the material is the reservation types. There are several types of reservation, and the first reservation is the new reservation. A new reservation created from the first time, and then the amended reservation. The reservation that have been updated or changed. Changes that occur are the date of arrivals, date of departure, room types, and number of stay. Okay. The next is cancelled reservation. Cancel reservations. Cancellation can occur due to change in visit schedule and supportive security condition and etc. So the next is the confirmed reservation. A reservation that is certain confirmed. Okay. For the next is the individual reservation. The individual reservation is the reservation for the individual guest. Okay, for the next reservations, this is the group reservation. The reservation for the group guests, and then the conference reservation. The reservation from the guests with the main aim of the holding a conference or the seminar. Okay, the guaranteed reservations, a reservation that has been guaranteed or by, and first is prepayment, full room payment in advance. Okay, and then the advance deposit, paying a part of the room price at down payment, and then the voucher. Grant letter from travel agent. Okay, the grant letter, the letter of grant from the company or the government. And the last is the credit card or the credit card with the numbers stated. Okay, for the last of the reservation is the no guaranteed reservation. A reservation that is not guaranteed or guaranteed usually is a reservation like this will be maintained until 6 p.m. After that, if the guest doesn't come, the room will be sold for another guest. Okay, for the next material, I will explain you about the staff reservations. There are three staff reservation, and the first staff is the reservation manager. Is the top of leader in department or reservation section. A reservation manager is under in the front office manager or sales and marketing director. So the next is the assistant reservation manager. This is the person who supports the reservation work and represents of the replaced reservation manager in the event of absence. And the last is the reservation supervisor, in charge of the several reservation track depending on in the size of hotel. Reservation supervisors are tasked with the supervising the work of the reservation, check and jointly carry out dating in the orders room.
Okay, now I will continue the presentation about the last subtopics. It is about handling the reservation. In handling the reservation, there are 6 steps. The first is receive the reservation. The second is check the availability of the rooms. And the third is document the reservation. And the fourth is confirming the reservation. The fifth is blocking off the rooms of the reservation charge. And the last is communicating specific things related to the departments. Okay, now let's jump to the first step in handling reservation. That is receive the reservation. In receive the reservation, there are also some steps. The first is picking up the telephone. Reservations are usually made by telephone or can be directly in a person. However, reservations are generally made by telephone to make sure the availability of the rooms. The first thing to do is pick up the telephone. and the call must be answered as soon as possible on the third ring. And then the next is greeting. The first time after picking up the phone, we must greet the guest. We will say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and don't forget to smile. Although the customers can't see us, we must still take the call with the smile. And after saying good morning, then we mention the hotel's names. For the example like this. Good morning, Padma Hotel Ubud here. How may I help you? Okay, and the last step is ask the details of the reservation. After that, we need to ask the reservation details to the customer. The things that must be asked are the period of the time to use the room, and then the amounts of the room to be booked, the date to use of the rooms, and then wait for a response from the customers, and don't forget to take note for everything. Okay, the second step is check the availability of the rooms. In check the availability of the rooms, also there are some steps. The first is check the rooms. First, we need ask what kind of the room to book. So we can say, what kind of room do you need? And then we have to check what rooms are available in the control room. Currently, we need to pay attention to the date of the reservation and the number of the rooms booked. And then the next is tells the customer the availability of the rooms. In this section, we will confirm the available rooms on the date request by the customer and the number of the rooms requested. And at this stage is also the determination from the customers whether they accept or deny the reservation. If on that date the order of the number of rooms is insufficient, the customers may refuse the order. But before that, we are obligated to provide other alternatives, such as advising the guest to book a room for 3 or 4 people by ordering an extra bed, which is of course at an additional cost. Then the decision will return to the customers. If the customers refuse, then we must politely to decline. If the customers receive the order, we need to reconfirm everything related to reservation by repeating and asking again to make sure the order is correct. And then the last is confirm the payment method. Because the order has been received, the last thing to do is confirm the payment method to the customers. Payment can be by cash, debit card, company bill, or by voucher. This is important to avoid the losses because if a guest pays with an uncommon means of payments, such as travel check, billiard giro, or check, we can refuse it because it tends to be a hassle and complicated. Okay, the third step is document the reservation. In document the reservation, there are some steps. The first is fill the reservation form. In fill the reservation form, you must record the orders in the reservation from with complete and accurate data. The following is an example of a hotel room reservation form. Okay, two things that are important when writing this form are the name and the date of the order. For the name, we must pay attention on the spelling of the customer's name. Spelling the guest names is very important to avoid mistakes and offense in writing guest names. In general, the guest names consist of the title and then the first name and then family name. And the second is the reservation date. This is also important. In recording the date of the order, the most important is to note to note the date. Avoid writing a date like this, 02 slash 07/20 and 20, because it will confuse the month and the date. It would be better if you will write the date. It would be better if you write the month name directly, like July 2, 2020. So it will be more clear. And then repeat the reservation details. This aims to avoid the data logging errors and clarify special requests from the guest. In this repetition, we expect the answer yes or no, from the customers. And that means we have to fix the request. Okay, and now we will continue to the fourth steps, that is confirming the reservation. In confirming the reservation, also we need to prepare the reservation confirmation letter. Confirming here means the whole confirmation through fax, email, or proof the reservation. The reservation confirmation letter can be in the form of soft copy and hard copy. When ordering via telephone, usually a soft copy of the reservations confirmation letter will be sent via email. On the other hand, if the reservation directly in person, the confirmation letter will be in the form of hard copy. The aims of providing this to give the customers the opportunity to review that their data and their orders is correct. If there is an error, it will be corrected again. If everything is appropriate, the customers will be asked for a sign a proof of reservation. And here is the example of the reservation confirmation letter. Okay, the next step is the fifth step of handling reservation. And the fifth step is blocking off the rooms on the reservation chart. After the reservation is complete, then we must block the room that has been booked. This is aims to inform that the rooms is not sold to other guests. This must be done quickly by the receptionist as soon as the guest signs the reservation confirmation letter, so that the other reservation staffs will know if the rooms is no longer available. And then the last step is communicating specific things related to the other departments. After all the reservation step is done, the last things to do of the reservation step is communicating the specific things with the other departments. It is about the request from the customers. Like for housekeeping department staffs, we can communicate with them to provide special requests from the guests, like the bed numbers and the other things. Okay, that's all about the presentation from Group 5 about the materials handling the reservation. Thank you for your attention and watching. We do apologize if there's a mistake when do the presentation. And for the last, hopefully these materials can be useful for all of you.
To make you more understand about the topic, here are some questions related to handling reservation material.